Professional golf is graced with a history of very special, charged moments of drama. And we've each witnessed at least one that had us surging with emotion, leaping from our seats. A player swings, guided by a fierce clarity under pressure. And it happens. A shot beyond expectation. A 1 in a million shot.
Hi, I'm Steve Melnick, and I'm pleased to be your host with this exciting survey of some of the finest shots in golf. Our goal was to gather the best of these shots for you. Our criterion was simple. We wanted the best, so we selected shots that turned the tide in competition, established a new record, marked the end of one era, the start of another. To further narrow the choices, we've chosen one shot for each club, generally from the 4 majors, with a few added surprises. So here they are, beginning with the driver, those 1 in a million shots. For our driver shot, we go to the U.S. Open at the Cherry Hills Golf Course in Denver. The year is 1960, when 3 men from 3 different eras in golf are matched. Ben Hogan, whose era is ending.
Arnold Palmer, whose era it is. And a 20-year-old Jack Nicklaus, who is about to burst onto the scene. The final round begins that Sunday in June with Mike Suchak 2 strokes up on his nearest competitors, Boris, Finsterwall, and Barber. Hogan and Nicklaus are tied for 3rd, 3 strokes off the pace, while Palmer is in 15th place, 7 strokes back.
That day at lunch, Palmer tells a golf writer friend that with a 65, he could win. The writer tells him to forget it. You're out of it. The hell I am, Palmer replies. It's his tenacious competitor's instinct that makes this Arnold Palmer's day.
And it's his drive on the first hole of the final round which takes his place as a 1 in a million shot. A drive so long, so accurate, so unexpected that no camera sees it land. The ball soars across the 346-yard par 4 and comes to rest an amazing 20 feet from the hole and a 2-putt for a birdie. This drive begins a patented Palmer charge from 7 strokes back to do what at least one golf writer said was impossible, to win. On the final hole, he makes his par, his 65, and a winning 280. His whole body expresses his joy at winning. On that day, he went from great player to legend when his crushing drive on the first hole of the final round began his fiery path to one of the most amazing finishes in any golf tournament ever.
Of all the courses I can think of as a setting for a dramatic tournament, Pebble Beach stands out.
Not only visually stunning, it is a challenging and dangerous course. And what better setting could there be for a 1 in a million shot? At the 1972 U.S. Open, the spectators are packing Pebble Beach in anticipation of an exciting competition. Jack Nicklaus, already a legend at 32, is at the center of this story, a slimmed and long-haired golden bear at the height of his prowess. With the 1972 Masters under his belt, people are saying, and he is thinking, Grand Slam. Nicklaus, at even par after 3 rounds, holds a slim 1-stroke lead over defending champion Lee Trevino and Bruce Crampton, who are tied at 217. Palmer is just 2 strokes back at 218. And for the final round, on top of fast greens, rugged terrain, heavy rough, and everything else that makes Pebble Beach so dangerous, on this day, the winds are blowing gale force off the Pacific. In these conditions, only Nicklaus holds his own. By the time he reaches the 17th, he leads by 3. The 17th is justly famous, an appropriate hole for a 1 in a million shot, a killer par 3 of 218 yards. With the ocean threatening on the left and beyond, the kidney-shaped green, bunkers everywhere, and today the wind rips across the fairway. Almost in defiance of the wind, he takes his 1-iron, and when a par would do, he goes right for the flagstick. It cuts through the wind, actually hits the flagstick, and stops within inches of the hole. It makes for an outstanding birdie to win his 13th major championship.
From the tee, we move into the fairway and back in time to the second Masters for perhaps the most famous fairway woodshot of all, Gene Sarazen's 4-wood on a cold day in April in 1935. No photo or film exists of this unbelievable shot. In fact, Sarazen was considered out of the running.
Well into the 4th round, Craig Wood is the clear leader, playing several holes ahead of Sarazen and his partner Hagen. Sarazen is playing well, but by the 15th hole, he needs to play the final 4 holes in 3 under par just to tie the leader, Craig Wood. And Wood is already feeling like a winner. The 15th is 485 yards long, a par 5 hole. The fairway slopes downhill from the landing area with the green 30 feet below the tee level. The green is 15 feet above the water, helping make the second shot a precarious one. Sarazen has hit his tee shot 250 yards straight down the middle of the fairway.
Sarazen selects his 4-wood in steps in the golf history. His shot from 230 yards lands on the apron and rolls right into the cup for a double eagle, pulling him even with Wood through this one stroke. Sarazen was later to say, at most, the shot had 24 witnesses. In fact, the green was so far away that only the shouts of the small group of spectators let Sarazen know something sensational had happened.
He pars out to tie Wood, who is so shaken, one writer describes him as looking like a man who had won the sweepstakes, then lost the ticket on the way to the window. Sarazen clinches his win in the playoff.
Well, I'm just delighted to come back here after 50 years. I don't recognize many of my old colleagues. They're up there on the first tee waiting for me, Hagen, Jones, and Armour. They're saying, hurry up, Sarazen, hurry up. But you got a long wait.
A full 38 years later, Sarazen, age 71, is at Troon Golf Course in Scotland in the 1973 British Open. It's exactly 50 years after he failed to qualify for the 1923 Open. Sarazen, in his trademark knickers, stands on the 8th tee in the 3rd round.
The 126-yard par 3 is called the postage stamp because of its tiny green surrounded by deep bunkers, a hole so treacherous that Arnold Palmer made a quadruple bogey 7 in the 2nd round. Sarazen selects a 5-iron, and with an old mastery still very much alive, he plays for the green. And aces the hole. What else is there to say? It's not only a great display of golfing ability across a lifetime, it's a moment filled with emotion for Sarazen and all who watched this 1 in a million shot.
The emotional charge I feel in watching the greatest golf shots comes not only because of the skill in the shot itself, but because of the context. What I know about the golfer, about who he is against, where he is in the game, and where he needs to be on the next shot.
Take the 1975 British Open, when a young Tom Watson broke through for his first British Open win with a truly great 2-iron shot onto the 18th green of the playoff for a clinching birdie.
That shot could well be called a 1 in a million shot. Except 8 years later, at Royal Birkdale in England, Watson hits the shot he is to call the best 2-iron of my life to win his 5th British Open.
Watson arrives at the 18th with a 1-stroke lead, needing a par to win. Watson's drive flies out 260 yards to split the fairway, but 213 yards remain. The 18th at Birkdale is known for allowing little margin for error. It's a tough 473-yard par 4, the huge stretch of its fairway peppered with menacing bunkers, the green encircled with them. He selects his 2-iron. The ball flies to the green, true to the hole, and stops within 15 feet of the flagstick. A masterful shot that reflects his steely self-discipline as much as his skill. His 2-putt for the finish safely captures for an ecstatic Watson his 5th British Open title, and he does it with the 3rd lowest total ever, a 9-under par score of 275.
It's an odd Masters right from the start in 1968. Palmer misses the cut, and Nicklaus can't seem to put it together, and Player loses his lead entirely in the 4th round. During this 4th round, the Argentinian Roberto Di Vicenzo roars to the lead with an eagle and several birdies, but Bob Goalby stays right behind. Goalby, an ex-football player from the University of Illinois and Rookie of the Year 10 years back, is playing the best golf of his career, a full 10 under par as he begins the 15th hole.
While up ahead, starting at 17, Di Vicenzo is an amazing 11 under par. It is on the 15th hole that Goalby's most decisive shot is played, the same 15th where Sarazen had double-eagled. The Firethorn is now a long 520-yard par 5, the green protected by the water before it. Goalby plays a strong drive at 15, but still has over 200 yards to the flagstick. Selecting his 3-iron, he smashes out the most critical shot in the tournament for him. The ball stops 8 feet from the flagstick. Coincidentally, at the same time that Di Vicenzo makes birdie on 17, Goalby holds his putt at the 15th for an eagle. They are tied at 12 under par, then end with a tie at 11 under par 277 with matching 66s on their 4th round. But in a twist of fate, Goalby wins. Di Vicenzo's playing partner, Tommy Aaron, has mistakenly marked a birdie 3 as a par 4 on the 17th. But Di Vicenzo has already signed the card. The rules of golf say the score must stand as posted. Despite the unfortunate irony in the way he has won, Goalby has played superlative golf.
His final score of 277 is the 4th lowest in the Masters history, a score made possible by a shot into the 15th green, a shot which ranks among the great 3-iron shots in the final holes of any tournament. This 4-iron shot is something different. It's a single stroke taken in a tournament that this golfer didn't even win. A single stroke worth $1 million.
It's 1987 at the Hertz Bay Hill Classic in Orlando, Florida. At the 17th hole, a troublesome 193-yard par 3, made especially intimidating by the water stretched out in front and the bunkers at greenside. Here, since 1985, a hole-in-one during the final round has been worth $1 million, $500,000 to the player who holds out, and $500,000 to charity. It may seem like a safe bet, but not today. "36-year-old Don Pooley does it. The 10-year veteran and 1985 Barton Trophy winner wins the largest prize in golf history with a single swing. A 1 in a million shot worth $1 million, and $500,000 is donated toward the construction of the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital in Orlando.
No show on 1 in a million shots would be complete without mention of 20-year-old amateur Francis Ouimet, who created golf history on a dreary, wet September day at the 1913 U.S. Open.
Imagine him as he plays in 1913, this unknown amateur who astounds spectators by keeping pace just behind the so-called unbeatable British team of Harry Vardon and Ted Ray, until the decisive 17th hole of the final round. The 17th at the Country Club at Brookline is a 365-yard dogleg left par 4. Vardon drives into the fairway bunker on that dogleg, losing his advantage, while Ouimet coolly drives down the middle. He needs a birdie to tie.
And then it happens. Ouimet uses his jigger, akin to today's 4-iron, and from 150 yards away puts the ball just 20 feet past the hole. With that shot, he sets himself up for the birdie, which completes an amazing feat, a tie with both Vardon and Ray.
Ouimet goes on to par 18 and then win the playoff. The crowds go wild with excitement. And golf makes headlines for the very first time.
So often, tournaments are won or lost on the last hole. You have to know that the pressure is enormous. The entire tournament comes down to just one hole.
That's the situation for Jerry Pate in 1976 in the final round of the U.S. Open at the Atlanta Athletic Club. The tall, blonde, 22-year-old rookie has surprised everyone by moving up from behind in the final round for a one-stroke lead approaching the 18th. And everyone knows a rookie can't win the Open. The 18th hole of the Atlanta Athletic Club is a hole that has produced its share of bogeys and double bogeys. It's a dogleg left par 4 of 446 yards with a green guarded by water in front and a bunker to the left. Deep rough lines the fairway to the right with water down the entire left-hand side. And it's in the famous open rough that Pate lands with 190 yards left to reach the green. John Mahaffey, who has led for most of the Open and now finds himself one stroke back, is in the same rough. Unless Mahaffey performs a miracle, Pate only needs a par on this hole to win. But Mahaffey's hopes die in the water. Everyone wonders, will Pate end up there as well? With a crowd of 30,000 watching him, Pate selects his 5-iron, a bold choice considering the distance and the rough. But Pate sees what no one else sees. His ball is sitting up in the grass, and he has a slight flower lie. The ball soars over the water, holds the green, and gracefully stops about 2 feet from the flagstick. It is one of those rare and unmistakable moments in golf, a 1 in a million shot, and the crowd responds wildly with excitement. He holds his putt for birdie and the title. At 22 years old, he is the youngest to win the Open since Jack Nicklaus in 1962. His 68 gives him a 3-under par score of 277. Or, as Jerry Pate himself said, all I did was hit a shot 2 feet from the hole and win the U.S. Open. One of the things that makes watching a shot like Jerry Pate's 5-iron out of the rough so great is our emotional involvement with our fellow golfer out there. We share a bit of his troubles and triumphs. But perhaps no other golfer of our time captured the hearts of fans as Arnold Palmer did in his prime. So we return to the charismatic Palmer in his greatest year, 1960, for our 6-iron shot. In 1960, Arnold Palmer is a hot young golfer coming into the Masters, having already won 4 tournaments. And despite a touch of the flu, he is still playing well. But so is Ken Venturi. Venturi has finished the tournament and is leading with a 5-under par score of 283. He tensely waits for Palmer, who's 4 under with 9 holes to play. To tie Venturi, Palmer needs to play the last 9, 1 under par to tie, 2 under to win. But after some anxious saves just to make pars, with 2 holes left, he's still 1 stroke back. At the 17th, he sinks a 35-foot birdie putt. Palmer is now tied with Venturi. The 18th, once again, is the deciding hole. The 18th at Augusta is a 420-yard par 4, dogleg right, with a bunker guarding the front of the long upward slope of the green. Palmer's drive splits the middle of the fairway. And as he prepares to hit his approach shot, he knows he needs birdie to win. He plays an incredible 6-iron shot, which lands 6 feet from the cup. He holds the putt for his birdie. The meaning seems to take a moment to register, then suddenly it does. He has won his 2nd Masters. And the shot that made it possible was that magnificent 6-iron to the 18th. When the pressure was greatest, so was Palmer's focus. Moving back 5 years from Palmer's spectacular performance in the 1960 Masters, we arrive at 1955 and one of the pivotal tournaments in the career of Ben Hogan, one of the greatest golfers ever. In 1955, Hogan is poised to win his 5th U.S. Open at Olympic in San Francisco. But on the final day, an unknown municipal course pro from Iowa, Jack Fleck, confounds all expectations by keeping pace with Hogan into the final round. Hogan, playing ahead of Fleck, finishes with a 70 to thunderous applause from the crowd. It seems certain he's won. A radio announcer has even called Hogan the winner. Young Fleck is the only one left on the course with any chance of winning, and that seems highly unlikely. But Fleck puts on a superb display of shot making under pressure on the final holes. He makes 2 improbable birdies and stands on the 18th tee, needing 1 more birdie to tie Hogan. The 18th hole at Olympic is a 337-yard par 4, and Fleck's first shot has landed just off the fairway in the rough, with 110 yards to go to the green. As 10,000 watch, Fleck selects a 7-iron, a Ben Hogan model 7-iron in fact. The outcome of the tournament rides largely with this shot. The ball just clears the bunker and halts. Birdie range, 7 feet to the right of the hole. It is the shot of a lifetime for Fleck. On that difficult sloping green, he holds the putt for a birdie, a 67, and he ties Hogan. Fleck continues to play incredible golf in the playoff and wins. But it's the great 7-iron shot to set up the birdie to tie that is Jack Fleck's legacy and his 1 in a million shot. While we searched far and wide and canvassed golf writers, historians, and pros, we could not find an 8-iron shot that qualified as a 1 in a million shot. But we do have an incredible one for the 9-iron, and it is to South African Gary Player that the honors for the most superb 9-iron shot must be given at the 1972 PGA Championship at Oakland Hills in Birmingham, Michigan. Hogan had called Oakland Hills a monster, and it seems everyone in this tournament is getting caught in its teeth. At one time during the final round, 5 golfers share the lead. Player takes the lead, but by the 16th hole, Player is tied by Jim Jamieson. If the course is a monster, the 16th ranks among the most notorious on the course. A 408-yard par 4 with a huge dogleg right and high trees blocking the direct route. Then over 100 yards of menacing water between those trees and the green. Player pushes his drive into the soggy rough directly behind the tall weeping willow, leaving him 150 yards from the green, totally blind to the flagstick and with a long water hazard threatening ahead. He chooses a 9-iron for this one critical shot, the gamble, for rather than to attempt to fade the shot around the tree, he decides, despite the water ahead, he is going up and over the tree and the water. Astonishingly, the ball stops 3 feet from the hole. He easily makes his putt for birdie. This fantastic display of will and technique gives him a lead of 2 strokes, a margin he keeps to win. The PGA title becomes his 6th major title. But the heart of that victory rests with his great nerve and skill on that recovery shot, as exciting a shot as has been seen at any major championship. The next series of shots are ones I replay in my mind whenever I'm making a difficult approach shot. They remind me that around the green is where the seemingly impossible becomes most possible. The first of these shots is with the wedge. In 1953, George May's World Championship of Golf draws some of the top players of its time to the Tam O'Shanter Golf Course near Chicago. This year's $50,000 purse makes it, by far, the largest purse in the world of golf, an enormous sum for the times. And this tournament has an added place in history, television. For the last 18 holes, it is golf's first television spectacular. By the end of the final round, the contest is between Lou Worsham, winner of the 1947 U.S. Open, and Chandler Harper, the tall Virginian, winner of the PGA Championship in 1950. Coming up to the 18th, a long 410-yard par 4, Worsham is one stroke behind Harper. Harper's beautiful 9-iron shot lets him birdie 18 to go 9 under par at 279. One stroke up. His win seems assured. Worsham needs the impossible. His 280-yard drive places him in good position, but is it good enough? There's a full 130 yards to go, and he needs birdie to tie. He selects his wedge. The ball flies for the hole like a magnet and magically disappears. An eagle, too, and the win. Millions watch on television as in one stroke, Lou Worsham posts a 10 under par 278 to snatch victory in the $25,000 first prize from Harper. For Worsham, it marks the peak of his career.
Being in a bunker on the 18th hole in the final round of a major championship is not where you want to be, but it makes for some spectacular golf. We start with one of the great historic shots in women's professional golf at the 1964 Women's Open at the San Diego Country Club.
29-year-old Mickey Wright is playing in her hometown. Wright has been the dominant woman player for nearly 10 years and one of the greatest women professional golfers ever. But on the final day, Ruth Jessen has been battling Wright the whole way. And Jessen, with 6 wins already this year, is in position to win. Finishing up ahead of Wright, Jessen readies for her final putt. The pressure is on Wright now. She comes to the final hole needing birdie to win and a par to tie. The 18th at San Diego is a 420-yard par 4. Wright's second shot ends up in the right-hand bunker. Worse, the lie is terrible. The ball lying sharply downhill in the sand with the pin 35 yards away. Her chances at the title can end here. She swings, and the ball floats up in a cloud of sand to come down 5 feet from the cup. A perfect explosion shot from a most difficult lie. She holds out for a tie with Jessen and goes on to win the playoff for a record-breaking 4 Open championships, a record which still stands to this day. Her sand shot that day from a discouraging downhill lie, badly in need of a par to tie, remains one of the great pressure shots in golf.
Surely for emotional intensity, few shots in golf history can match that of our second sand shot on the 18th, Bob Tway's recovery shot in the 1986 PGA Championship.
It happened in Toledo, Ohio, at Inverness, a fearsome course. In previous tournaments, it had not yielded a single subpar score. By the final hole of the final round, Greg Norman and Bob Tway are dead even at 7 under par. Tway having stripped a 4-stroke lead from Norman over the past 8 holes. The air is charged with tension. The final hole at Inverness is a 354-yard par 4 with a bunker guarding the fast-paced green. Tway may already have lost as his approach shot finds the greenside bunker, 25 feet from the pin. The green slopes away from him, and on this sunny, dry day, that slope is running very, very fast. The ball... Norman chips 10 feet past the hole, and the tournament is Tway's. And what an unbelievable way to win. As Tway explained that day, I was just trying to get it close. Sometimes I see an incredible shot, a 1 in a million shot, and yet somehow, because the player is so good, I had a feeling he was going to do it all along. And the excitement comes from seeing a great golfer prove yet again he's in a class all his own. Such was the case in the U.S. Open again at Pebble Beach. The year is 1982, and it is one of the most dramatic Opens ever. The key players are Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson in their third duel for an Open title. Nicklaus has won the previous 2. In the final round, Nicklaus has shot 69 for 4 under par. Now he waits for Watson to finish. Watson bogeys 16 to go 4 under par. As he stands at 17 with 2 holes to play, he needs 1 birdie and 1 par to win. The 17th is a par 3, 218-yard hole with thick rough on the left, the very hole where Nicklaus hit his spectacular 1-iron in 1972. But today it's in the rough where Watson's tee shot lands, 20 feet above the flagstick. Nicklaus watches tensely on the sideline. Watson examines his lie, then tells his caddy, Bruce Edwards, he plans to make the shot. The chip pops up and runs toward the flagstick and in for a birdie. It's an incredible moment. At the 18th, Watson's birdie brings victory in a childhood dream, his first U.S. Open title. Watson said of his chip, that shot at 17 meant more to me than any golf shot I ever made.
Golf is filled with charged moments, unexpected shots, last-minute reversals. Here's one of the most memorable reversals I've ever seen. It's the 1987 Masters, and Greg Norman is in a sudden death playoff with Larry Mize, born and raised in Augusta, Georgia. I was there covering the playoff at the 11th green, and to this day, I'm not sure I believe what I saw.
On the second playoff hole, Mize hits his approach shot well off the right side of the green. Norman plays to the fringe, only 40 feet from the flagstick, while Mize is 140 feet away. It is a stunning ending. Larry Mize, age 26, a local boy, winner of only one previous tournament, has beaten the man many consider the best player in the world to win the Masters. Let's look again, because I love this shot.
There's an electric tension to the final putts of a close tournament. Enormous sums and the honor of the win can all come to rest on a matter of mere inches. Some of the most exciting pressure putting seen in the final holes of any major tournament occurred during the 1961 PGA Championship at Olympia Fields Golf Course. By the 16th hole of the fourth round, the tournament seems firmly in the hands of tall, lanky Don January. 31 years old, winner of 5 tour titles. January has a 4-stroke lead over little Jerry Barber, 5 foot 5 inches and 45 years old, winner of 6 tour titles. At the 16th, Barber comes alive to challenge January with an outstanding display of putting under pressure. His 20-foot eagle putt on the 16th cuts January's lead to 2. On the 17th, he saves a poor tee shot with a spectacular 40-foot putt for par. But January is still 2 strokes in the lead. The 18th has become the decisive hole. The 18th hole at Olympia is a 436-yard par 4 with sand on the left of the fairway and a very difficult green. January's approach lands in the sand on the left. Barber comes down over 50 feet from the cup. Barber faces a difficult twisting putt on the 18th and all the pressure of knowing that this is his only hope of tying to make this putt. The ball winds along the breaks of that long putt, and it happens. It's in for a birdie. He's done it. The crowd breaks the silence with its cheers. January takes 3 from the sand for a bogey. Barber's great putting display has taken him from behind on the final holes to tie at 277, 3 under par. Barber fires a 67 for victory in the playoff, 1 stroke ahead of January. But the peak moment was surely the seemingly impossible putt on the 18th, where Barber's playing personified grace under pressure. His decisive stroke gained him his place in golf's history. The greatness in the shots you've seen lies only in part in the superb skill of the players. There's that other intangible part which has to do with what must go on inside just before these shots. Imagine yourself there. Imagine the enormous pressures of a major tournament all come crashing together in intensity on the final holes, transcending those pressures, to exceed expectations, to produce a shot that becomes a part of golf's continuing history is what makes these all rank high among golf's most dramatic moments, among golf's 1 in a million shots.
For you sports fans, here are some of the video programs guaranteed to have you cheering for your favorites.
Once you step on that basketball court, there shouldn't be nothing going through your mind, or you shouldn't be trying to think about anything other than play your best, give 100%. But in my situation, it's my life. I got to win.
Mastering the game of basketball takes dedication, concentration, guidance, and practice. Come with us as we present one of today's superstars of the game, Larry Bird, along with one of the all-time great coaches, Red Auerbach. They will give you some special insights into the game and show you how you can make the most of your own skills and talents.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
From Babe Ruth to Mickey Mantle, you have box seats for this treasure chest of New York Yankees history. Relive the 10 greatest moments in Yankee history.
The 10 greatest moments in Yankees history.
Learn golf techniques from the pros. Your score will improve when you practice these tips. Mastering the Basics, a guide for the woman golfer. This is the perfect gift for any golf enthusiast. Here's a 3-volume series designed to improve young players' skills in soccer. The Graduated Soccer Method, Fundamentals and Technique.